Hello again. Thanks for watching this video and studying your math with me. You should have already done the Chapter 2 fake quiz, and here what we're going to do is discuss the solutions. There are also copies of the solutions in your course. The first problem was a modification of the square root curve that we studied. You shift left 3 and down 4, and you work through and get those answers. So you should have this graph and those answers. Feel free to pause the video to copy things down or check your work. Number 2, since this is an absolute value curve, we expect it to be a V. This V is an inverted V because of the negative sign, and it is shifted. It is shifted 2 right and 5 up, so that tells us where the vertex is going to be, and we work through, fill out the table, and graph the curve. Here is a quadratic graph, and you know that it opens down, and you can use the vertex formula to find out the coordinates of the vertex and learn that the vertex is minus 1/2 and 25/4, and this will allow you to fill out all of these other things. You can use the quadratic formula or factor it to find the x-intercepts. Here's a projectile motion problem. This is a common word problem that we will do. So we have y is equal to h of t is this. I didn't ask you to graph it, but that's what the graph would look like. To find the height of the projectile 2 seconds after it's launched, you would put 2 in and solve, and you get 224 feet. You would have to use the quadratic formula to solve this, and you would reject an answer that is negative. So you only have the plus root 65/2. The height, maximum height, is going to happen at the vertex, so minus b/2a gives you 7/2 here, and when you plug 7/2 into the h equation, you get 260. Okay, 5 through 8. Here we use the square root property to solve, and that is our solution. Here you're going to say that when you're solving absolute values on both sides, this is equal to that, or minus that is equal to that. So we solve each of them in turn. We find x is 5/2, or x is 19/6. So there are two answers. Now here we say this: the absolute value of this business is less than 3. That means that business is caught in between minus 3 and 3, as we discussed in class. You solve this, and you remember that when you divide by a negative, you change the direction of things, and so we're talking about x being between minus 10/7 and 2. Those are open intervals, and the graph looks like this. Those are open intervals. The next problem is a greater than or equal to, and you know that when you have a greater than or equal to, you're going to say that what's inside the absolute values is bigger than or equal to 4 or less than or equal to minus 4, and solve it separately. So you'll get answers that will look like this. We will go from 2/5 to infinity, and we will union that with minus 6/5 to minus infinity. Actually, it's minus infinity up to 6/5, and those are closed because this had an equal sign in it. Number 9 is graphing a piecewise continuous function. The break happens at 5. You'll notice that this function is discontinuous because you have to move your marker in order to continue graphing. And notice also that the range really doesn't go all the way down to minus 5/2 because we never really get there. It's an open circle. So that is an open interval, and we find that there are two x-intercepts, one there and one there, and the y-intercept is 0, 3. Here is just a quadratic formula, but we do have to move the 9 to the other side before we apply it, and we get that as our two solutions. And then finally, number 11, this is a circle. We'll divide all the way through by 3, and then we can complete the square. So we complete the square on the x, we complete the square on the y, and we add those numbers to the other side. And so that means that this is a circle. X minus 3/2 whole squared, y plus 1 whole squared is r squared. So r is this. That means that the diameter is 2 times r, or square root of 13. And the center is going to be at 3/2 comma minus 1. And so to find the range, we're going to go from minus 1 up to the top and to the bottom, and so we'll do that using the radius. And similarly for the domain, what we're going to do is we're going to use the x value, which is 3/2 of the center, and we'll go the radius this way and the radius that way, and that's where those numbers come from. Again, you have these solutions listed in course collateral as well, and so you should be able to benefit from this. Feel free to ask questions, but this should help you prepare for Chapter 2. Take care, and remember, time is precious. Each day must count. Do the math. It'll make you strong, and I will see you in class after the break.